If you're a heating air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what do you need to know about objections and price and terms? This is a super important question. I'm Scott Silvenbell. I'm coming to you live from Sacramento, California on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you for HVAC technicians sales secrets. Okay, so there's going to be a point where you're sitting at the table with Mr. and Mrs. Jones, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, Mr. Smith, Mrs. Jones, whoever it is, and wherever this table happens to be. And you are going to get an objection. And the objection could be for just about anything. It could be a concern, it could be a stall, it could be a condition, it could be whatever is going on with your buyer. And there's a point where you, as the salesperson, have to take some leadership roles. And you have to figure out what's going on. Now, I'm going to tell you, when it comes down to it, when you look at an objection you're getting, about 80% of the time it's price or terms. It's the price of the product or the terms that it has. And it's your role and responsibility to narrow down the options and figure out what's going on with the buyer. You know, they may have an expectation, you know, you have a product or service, and in what you do, it's $100,000 and they were thinking 50. You have an item that needs to be sold, and for you it's $15,000 and they were thinking $7,500. And so there becomes a point where you have to be the leader in this event, in this objection, and say, okay, I have an idea. Why don't we do this? How about we do this? And you do have to probe, and you have to say, hey, Mr. or Mrs. Buyer, is, you know, some way get to it. Is this the price? Is it the terms? You know, what's going on here today? And just so you know, this is work. There's going to be times where the person's going to come out and tell you it's way too much money. There's going to be times where people come out and tell you flat out it's the terms. And then there's times where you have to peel back the layers of the onions. And this is where it takes patience. Now, I will tell you, hi, I'm Scott. I screw up on average 4 times a day. And on number 4, I go home and take a nap. In the beginning of my career, I got very impatient and I would lose deals because I didn't understand. I was very immature in the sales process. And I didn't understand this whole concept of price and terms and peeling back the layers of the onions and dealing with objections. And so I want to tell you, it is normal for this to take time. It is normal to have some volleys of you going back and forth with the person, asking questions, trying answers, and trying to figure out what the price or the term is going to be. And this right here is why you should join my email list. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel, which means private coaching, private training, discounted coaching, discounted training, or some other cool stuff. You know, got to pay for my bad habits. So law of price and terms says this, that if they set the price, you can set the terms. If they set the terms, you can set the price. And so sometimes you have to figure out what is going on with your client, your buyer, and their expectations of what it is. You know, it may come down to, how about we do this? Why don't we do this? These are a couple of word tracks you could use. I have an idea. There's something that we could do. How about we modify? Why don't we change? Like, your job is to figure this out. Now, sometimes over here, the buyer is going to go, why don't we do this? But most of the time, this is going to be on you. When you're figuring out price and terms, there's things that you have to be creative about. Now, I will share with you that there's going to be a point where somebody wants $1 million worth of work and $1 million worth of product, and they want to pay $1 for it. Well, you have some decisions to make. Know that person's probably going to be one of the most difficult clients you've ever had in your life. Know that there's going to be problems and issues and things that are not going to work out. Know that, you know, they want everything but want to pay for nothing. It's something that you need to be aware of, okay? Law of price and terms. Sometimes you just got to flat out ask, hey, do you like the company? Do you like the product? Do you like the service? It's known as a lockdown technique. Do you like everything that we bring to the table? Yes, yes, yes. You're not asking for the yeses. You're trying to figure out where the objections are, right? And then at the end, like, old school sales, can you level with me? Is it the price? Right? Not teaching anything that hasn't ever been taught before when it comes to word tracks and sales training. You just got to figure out what it is. Figure out if it's a price. Figure out if it's terms. Figure out if it's both. Figure out if it's none of them. You got 1 of 3 things to do from here, just 1 of 3. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update. 2, you can hit follow. 3, you can share this with a friend by tagging them. That would be super fantastically cool.